This is short notes from section 2.3 of the quotient rule. The quotient rule, it says that if we have a quotient, so h of x is equal to u divided by v, we can take the derivative, I should say the derivative of h of x. So we can find the derivative by doing v times u prime. So the bottom times the derivative of the top minus the top times the derivative of the bottom divided by v squared. So divided by the bottom squared. So an example here asks us to find the derivative of this. We've got a quotient here, 3x minus 5 divided by x squared plus 7. There's no way we can simplify that, so it's no longer a quotient. So the quotient rule, to find the derivative of that, so it's the bottom, x squared plus 7, times the derivative of the top, minus the top, times the derivative of the bottom, divided by the bottom squared. And then we just need to simplify, and we're just going to simplify the numerator here. So 3x squared plus 21 minus 6x squared plus 10x. And combine like terms. Negative 3x squared plus 10x plus 21 over x squared plus 7 all squared. And that should be our derivative. A couple of them that are a little bit different. One like this, even though we have a quotient, even though we're dividing two things, you don't have to use the quotient rule because this is a monomial, one term here. We've actually done ones like these before. So divide everything by x squared. 2 divided by x squared, I'm going to write as 2x to the negative second. And then we can find the derivative without using the quotient rule. And then to find the derivative of secant, tangent, cosecant, cotangent, all the rules are in your book. They're on page 244. You could also write it as 1 over cosine x and then use the quotient rule. So like here, the derivative, or the bottom times the derivative of the top. The derivative of 1 is 0. Minus the top times the derivative of the bottom over the bottom squared. Sine over cosine is tangent. And then I have an extra cosine on the bottom, which is secant. So the derivative of secant x is secant x tangent x. Again, you can look those up. They're on your page, in your book on page 244. The only ones you need to have memorized right now are the derivative of sine, which is cosine. Derivative of cosine x is negative sine x. And you should also know the derivative of tangent x is secant squared x. That's one that pops up enough. You should memorize that one. And then the other thing, higher order derivatives, is when we repetitively take the derivative. So if I have that, dy dx, you know how to find the derivative of that. Should be 6x squared minus 4. This notation right here, d squared y over dx squared. You should recognize this means the second derivative, so you just take the derivative again. If it wants the third derivative, it'll look like this, d cubed y over dx cubed. If you want to practice one quotient rule, make sure you've got it down. You can do this one here. If you want to pause the video, and then once you think you have it, you can play it. So bottom times the derivative of the top minus the top times the derivative of the bottom. Square the bottom and away you go. Distribute. Multiply. And combine like terms. That's it. That's the quotient rule.